こんばんは。トランスミッションに帰ってまいりました木島てるみです。さあ、行ってらっしゃい、そしてお帰りなさいということでお便りいただいてるんですが、高知市の加藤ひろ子さん、どうもありがとう。そしてですね、ストーンローゼズのライブについては森田直子ちゃん、こちら横浜市、そして、横浜、同じく横浜の直美ちゃんからもいただいてますが、後で紹介させていただきますね。どうもありがとうございました。ミュージックボックス社ではパッドともシェルドンとも会ってきたんですけれども、実は今回私の目的はそのトランスミッションを作っているプロデューサーとは誰なのか、どういうふうに企画しているのかということで、プロデューサーさんは誰なんですかと聞いたところ、意外な人がプロデューサーさんだったんですが、これはまた後ほどのスペシャル番組で、楽しんでいただきたいと思いますが、さあその前に衛星放送からお知らせがあります。こちらです。衛星放送はこちらの番組ガイドを出しましたが、11月の衛星放送の毎日の番組時刻表がつきました。衛星放送番組ガイドができました。衛星放送を皆さんにより一層お楽しみいただこうと、 NHK の番組情報誌グラフ NHK の別冊として、こちらは編集されたものです。また衛星映画100本の、1月まで、来年1月までのラインナップもご紹介しております。このガイドは一月お使いいただけます衛星放送番組ガイドとなっております。さあ、この番組ガイドをご希望の方はお名前、住所と郵便番号、それに電話番号をご記入の上、150円の切手を添えてお近くの NHK 衛星放送番組ガイドの係へお申しくださいね。これで衛星放送の番組がすべてわかりますということなんですけれども、さあ、ところで一日も早く今回取材してきましたドイツ編、そしてイギリス編の取材報告を皆さんにお届けしたいと思うんですが、こちらの方は1、2週間かかってスタッフと一生懸命、編集しましてお届けする予定ですので、楽しみにしておいてくださいね。そしてですね、ここでイギリスのロンドンの紹介しなきゃいけないのはですね、こちらのタイムアウトなんですが、こちらの方を見ておりましたら、ロンドン以外でも実にこの秋というのはさまざまな催しが行われております。こちらの方も後でゆっくりご紹介しましょう。ではトップバッターはこちらです。どうぞ。
No need to lie. First it's in your hands, then it's in your eyes. Right down the line, you can't take the truth. The way I am, I can feel you move. I can feel you move. Touch within, heard it in your voice, read it in your eyes. Right down the line, you can't take the truth. My head is sore, I can feel you move. I can feel you move.
トップバッターはインスパイラルカーペッツでした。なかなかいいスタートでしたよね。それにしましてもパットはちょっと寒そうですね。風邪ひかないようにね、パットさん。さて、今日のフューチャーアーティストはウィルバーハンプソンの出身です。彼らのことをルックスからもサウンドからもリバプール出身だと思い込んでいる人も多いとか。ところがそれは大間違いです。
and tired, feeling like I do. And no, I can't understand why it's sad about you. And it feels so bad, and it should be alright by now. And it feels so bad, and it should be alright by now. Now that I feel starting down the hill, you were my biggest thrill. I know you tried to hurt me, seen it in your face. You took my world, my world, my world. It's not a pretty place. Things are lost up there inside of my hands. Slips between my fingers out of my hands. Took so long to get it, and I'm nowhere. Everything I wanted out of thin air. So far out of my head, so close, I can't find it. You can't stop my heart from turning inside out. Try to stop my world from turning inside out. Clutching on the last straw, seeing things I never saw. The sweet town I found to a place I didn't know too well. Waiting for the last rain, standing in the pouring rain. Although I tried to break this spell, I know I have not a will. Tried so hard to play this
点ヒプノテクスはシチュエーション2から、ライブアルバムを出したばかり。これは7月にロンドンのパワーハウスでレコーディングされたものです。グループのジェームス・ジョーンズはこのアルバムはグループのオフィシャルなデビューアルバムではなく、グループの変換のドキュメントだと説明しています。
Document our live performance now type of thing. Also, the fact of a live album means that it's recorded. Well, most groups, when they do a real proper live album, they have a mobile that follows them on a whole tour. And we just did one night and took a chance. And it came out okay. I think it'd be good. It's a good release. It's worth buying. It's really good, you know. You get a few girls down there screaming away, and you get a few guys throwing themselves around all over the place, and it's like a good, just. It's a good outlet for them as well, and it's good to see. It's good to see people really letting their hair down for a change instead of, you know, like, hey, did anybody see me there? I think I made a bit of a fool of myself. I'm just going to sneak back to the bar and hang out and be cool as we're, you know, that's garbage. It's rubbish. You know, people acting like that. The reason you go to a show is to enjoy yourself, and if you don't go to enjoy yourself, you know, you pay your £3, £4, whatever it is, and just have a night of a competitive atmosphere where you're trying to be cooler than the next person. You know, God, what a waste of money. Why don't you stay home and you know, put a record on or something? I guess if people go and they want to do that, want to like just pose around or whatever, then they've chosen to do that anyway, so that must be their way of getting enjoyment. Like, just letting loose. That's the main thing, it's letting loose. So I'm sure everybody has got, you know, frustrations and things inside them. And if we can be their excuse to let it all come out and everybody just to like scream their heads off or have, you know, have a little bit of a show of aggression or something like that, then, you know, all the better. You know, get it all out of your systems. Come to our gigs. Man. That's what we're there for. You know, you can let it hang out. You don't have to be cool. You don't have to do anything. You do exactly what you want, because that's what we're doing. You know. A lot of people try and propagate competition, and I hate that. You know, it's a lot as I hate competition. I hate any competitive atmosphere, and I try to ignore that. You might get some people from the audience come back and go, oh, that band, they're like this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, go on, go and do your thing. And of course, don't say it to them, but I feel like saying, you know, why don't you get lost, man, you know, really, because we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do what we want to do anyway. What other people say to us or what the other bands are doing won't affect what we're doing at all. Possibly, maybe if there's a really good band supporting us, it might excite us or give us a burst of enthusiasm to do a better show than maybe we would have done if it was not such a good support band. Or I don't really know, I can't say on that, but I don't like the idea of competition in any form. It's what the government today are trying to create, and it just kills unity, you know. It isolates people, competition, and I don't like it at all.
Does the band take up all of your time, or do you find that you have got time to yourself as well, or is that a problem?
All of our time is taken up by the band. I can say I live in. Me and the guitarist live in the same house, and I know that when we're not touring or recording, then we're generally or writing. Then we're generally like listening to records or just sitting around and thinking. You know, when, like, I've got a room upstairs and he's got a room downstairs, whenever we, like, you know, we bump into each other in the house. Well, it's not so much that the house is too small not to, you know, we're just there together. But usually when we talk, it's 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, I've had this idea, maybe we can try that. Or have you noticed this thing about Muddy Waters? He's got a thing there. Would it be good to try and get that excitement in a modern way to our thing? Or do you see that Otis Redding video and blah, 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 I've got that about. And it's always, you know, if it's not touring, recording or writing, then it's just thinking about the band. I'd say a good 90% of our time is spent. The other 10% is things like brushing your teeth and hoovering your bedroom or something like that. In the early stages of when it was you know, in the leaving school stages, which was before the Hypnotics. It was like other bands. Myself and the guitarist have been in bands since school, and there was always a lot of pressure from family, at least, to say, you know, oh, you know, I guess it was from worry, because it is a difficult area, I guess, to be successful in. But once I convinced them that it was what I wanted to do, and that what's the point of doing something that you're not happy doing, they kind of calmed down. And when they saw that maybe there's a little bit of success, then they're, you know, totally behind it now. But it's really just a thing. It's, you know, I wouldn't want to say involvement of friends or family has got anything to do with it at all. It's each person's an individual, and they do what they want with their lives. That's the way I look at it anyway.
さて今週のフィーチャーアルバムはワーナーブラザーズまたは WEA と称している会社から出ているみんなお気に入りのイアン・マッカロックの出した LP、 タイトルはキャンドルランドです。その中から1曲、Proud to Fall、 こちらをよく味わってくださいね。
Again, acting like a savior. There you go again, talking like a stranger. You're setting all the smiles to face what would be coming. And then I saw you in the distance, off and running. But from start to finish, I was hard to fall, and I felt so deep within it, I got lost inside it all, inside it all, inside it all. Looks like rain again, feels like it's raining forever. Can't remember when, don't remember whether.
はい、ということでラストはイアン・マッカロックでしたが、こちらの方に、ニューミュージカルエクスプレスですね、彼のライブ費用が載っておりました。これをちょっとお伝えしますと、イアンは、ここ最近エコバニのドラマーが死んじゃったりとか、彼の近辺でさまざまなことがあったにもかかわらず、ライブの方は頑張ったんじゃないかというプレスの批評ですね。あとはですね、エコバニ時代っていうのはライブには必ずドライアイスを焚いて、ライティングがすごくて、そういったビジュアルの面でもかなりインパクトのあったバンドだったんですが、彼がソロになっても、とりあえずそのドライアイスもあったし、ライティングもすごかったよということでね、これからソロになっても頑張ってほしいというのが全体的な評でした。さて、さっきお見せしたこちらのタイムアウトなんですが、もちろんこれは音楽情報誌、そしてさまざまなそれよりもさまざまな情報が載っているわけなんですが、今回ですね、ロンドン以外でさまざまなやはりこれもライブが行われてました。ブリリアントコーナーズ含めホローメンですね、そして、あとはですね、何だったかな、そうウェディングプレゼントなんかもやってたわけなんですが、とりあえずチョイスするのに難しいというほどイギリスはたくさんのライブが行われておりました。さあ、急ぎまして次のパートではサラ・レーベルのこのアーティストからご覧ください。
There's no use crying over all the things we said. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't want to kill him. When I dug that knife in his neck, God, I swear I was somewhere further. George Hamilton's dead. 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 George Hamilton's dead.
今週はロングバローというお墓の遺跡から番組をお届けしています。ということで、パッド・フィッシュ作の詩の上達法という本から一節、不思議な内容ですよ。ちょっと紹介しますね。ドルイドのお坊さん、彼らは不思議な衣装をまとっていた。しかし、彼らが何をしていたか、それは誰も知らないという内容なんですが、パッドが本当に作ったのかしら。皆さん、内容わかりますか
？Nobody knows. New releases.
さて、パラシュートメンはファイアレコーズからブレッド&ブレックファーストをリリース。そしてラッシュはデビューアルバムを 4AD からリリース。キッドはチェーディングマイハートプレイハードレコーズよりリリース。グレーブファームはレーブンポップブラウドレコーズからプラグを出しております。ワイルドポピーズはジェンリコレコードよりこちらをリリース。そしてメガシティ4は最新レコードをディーコイレコーズより出しておりますね。さあ、そして最後にセンスレスシングがトレバーというものを出しました。パーフェクトノイズはデイズはフレームズをリリースしてますね。そしてデイピクチャーはラフトレードからこちら。多くの変換を経てきた Too Much Texas ですが、彼らは今適切なメンバーを揃えることができたと自信たっぷり。彼らが一番最近出したビデオ Wash には、今現在の顔ぶれが揃ってはいませんが、彼らが次のシングルを出す際に行うイギリスとヨーロッパのツアーでは新顔も揃って登場することになっています。彼らはこの番組に出演する予定でしたが、こんなことがありました。
And then when we got back in the car, we were just about to pull out. And this huge, massive, sprawling Jaguar car back behind us and said, "Whoa, lads, we want to see what's in the car." Checked out Raymond's and Tim's, who's the drummer, who's not here. Checked out their briefcases because they thought we were doing some massive crack deal. This is what they said, their words, not ours. And they went through the car and they found about, would you say, yeah, about that much of a joint.
It was one of Lee's.
And it was mine. So I got
home brand.
I got busted for.
It's a secret ingredient.
What did they call it? What did they call it? What did they call it?
Controlled substance.
A controlled substance. Yeah, that's what they called it.
History of the band goes back a lot further, but you know, it's of no consequence really because things change so much.
My granddad don't smoke, so I don't know if he's going to be happy about me dropping this on the floor.
I think it's good that bands have different people in them. It's obviously good. It's good for Inspirals. It's good for us. Good for Stone Roses. How many people have they had in their band? Loads of people. Loads of people. And you know, it's good. Obviously, the end result is happy lineup. Everyone's happy. Make good music. It's good.
We just play really, really good music. And if you ask people who come up from Nottingham, who don't even know us, have heard of just a little scratch by Flexi-Disc single, who come up to see us to our gigs.
Fat kids in Gloucester, jumping around, banging on the stage.
Because they know that what we're playing is hard and heavy. And it's not genre. It's not just trying to fit into a Manchester sound, as it were. It's just they like the music. That's understandable, because, you know, people like music for different reasons, don't they?
Absolutely.
We're really good. We're going to be really good. If anyone hears our records, like I say, I don't want people just to buy us because I'm talking, and just because there's a television there and acting as that medium. we are good. And if people get to hear our records or our music, as opposed to just seeing our faces, then they're going to understand where we're coming from, and they're going to want to buy it. I mean, that's by the by. People, if they want to buy our records, then they can buy our records. Yeah, we've got to play, buy our records. Don't just buy them because we're on telly.
Yeah. And I suggest if they come and see us, then they will be buying our
They come and
records.
see it.
They will be.
The name's changing, by the way. It's going to be Too Much Texas Experience. I don't like the way that people have grabbed at our flares.
I think you can't really help it.
A bit of both, really.
Yeah, I think you can't really help it. And if we spent a few months locked away and then come out with some kind of image, you know, it'd just be ridiculous. People would see right through it.
It's important when it's manipulated by certain mediums because it's in people's interest to do it that way. But and now I will, it might seem contradictory, but I don't mean it to seem that way. People wear flared trousers. We came on the coach today and we just pulled into Swiss Cottage and there were people there wearing flared trousers. And I think that's pretty cool. The stuff they had on cost a lot more than the stuff I'm wearing. But I like flared trousers, and the reason I've worn them for a few years is purely because I think they're a punk. When I started wearing them, it was a punk statement because it really was, you know, completely reactionary in a fashion sense, and that's why I started wearing them because I don't know how that reflects on me. Actually, I don't know if that says something about me. But
let's not dwell on that.
I'm not dwelling on that apparently.
No.
But that's what I want to say.
Yeah, it's a fair comment.
Well, was it true that you got involved with ID, doing some modelling and stuff for them?
Me personally? Well, ID came up to Manchester about 2 years ago and they asked to take some photos, and it just so happened that me and Steve were smashed at the time and agreed. And then they ran some sort of Happy Mondays interview beside it, which had nothing to do with the people in the photo except for Steve, who happened to be working there at the time before he was working with the Roses. And yeah, we did it, didn't we? I think people who are going to hear us talking now are going to be able to relate to that far more than any sort of pseudo-pretentious sort of nonsense like, you know, we're a band, here we are, jolly, jolly, jolly. Because we're just people like everybody else, the buying public, more than you. They're going to not relate to you. You make the television programme. They don't know who you are. You're faceless. We're faceless. We're not faceless, in fact, sorry. We're here now. We're not negative in any way. We're just four lads. Well, no, I don't mean lads in the laddish sense. Just four people in a band who are making really, really good music.
That we
and
like,
the music
obviously we
speaks for
like it.
itself. If you could use this as a cue, in fact, to play something by us.
人たちはお墓の中にいるそうです。こんな場所に長くいるとこんな風になっちゃうそうですが、パットさんどうなるんでしょうね。
Bad brains.
In a grasp of the test, it's a feeling of achievement. Everybody's always on it just to see themselves. It's a fucking mouth, this is just going dead. Stand I up and empty anyone else. People tell me your why, this after the line. Trying to make me up confused about the USA. When the back of my mind, this is just on here to comprehend and understand a single word I say. Mother, whatever, go get tired. Whatever, go get tired. Well, every day I'm saying a story. Don't fact to glory, I can say, I still don't like it, and I know I don't want it. I can say, Almighty watching, I can I still don't like it, and I know I don't want it. I can say.
はい、ということで楽しんでいただいてますでしょうか。今日はサラレーベルのアーティストゴールデンダウンが登場しましたが、サラレーベルと、言いましたら今回ですね、私たちのインタビューに、フィールドマイス、そしてセントクリストファー、そしてですね、コミック本に出てきそうなとってもキュートな男の子ブライターなども、来てくれました。そしてセントクリストファーの短いながらライブ演奏も撮ってきましたので、ね、楽しみにしておいてください。そしてここでお便りなんですが、東京都港区ペンネームスイートホームシカゴくんです。どうもありがとう。先日の10月18日トランスミッションで最後のインタビューをしていた男の人とその次にあったビデオの曲名とグループ名をぜひぜひ教えてくださいということなんですが、この人たちはですね、実はフィリップ・バー&ブードゥークラブだったんですが、今回私たちは彼たちともドイツで会ってきました。それで、フィリップ・バーからこの手でですね、最新のクリップもいただいてきましたので、こちらのスイートホームシカゴくん、こちらの方も楽しみにしておいてくださいね。ではトランスミッション続けてまいりましょう。次のパートはこれからスタート。
4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Transmission.
トランスミッションに再びようこそ。今日はお墓からライブでお伝えします。さて、今週のファンジンコーナーはまるでワールドツアーです。まずはフランスのファンジン、リチュアル、光沢のある紙でなかなか綺麗に製本されてますね。本当綺麗ですね。ARK の特集記事のほか、ザ・イモックスの特集も組んでいて、グローブスタイルレコーズについてのレーベルフューチャーも掲載されてるんですね。なかなかいい雑誌みたい。そしてアイルランドのダブリンからは無料のイベントガイド。もしこの地域に住んでいるようなら貴重な雑誌だと思います。トランスミッションについてもお褒めの言葉をいただいています。ダブリンの皆さんどうもありがとう。さて、リバプールからはちょっと変わったロゼンジというフォークのファンジンが届いています。印刷の方はあまり良くないけど聞いたこともないような人たちの興味深い記事がたくさん。ブラモーというバンドのフレキシディスクがおまけでついてきます。彼らはなんと完全なるパッドという曲をレコーディングしてますから、パッドは親しみを覚えるそうです。納得。そしてオランダからはオプシーンというファンジンというよりは美しい作りの雑誌が届いております。ともかく向こうでなかなか人気があるみたいですね。オランダ語が分かればいいんですが、中にオランダのミュージシャンなんかも載っているみたいですよ。ほとんどハードギターロックのことばかりだそうですが、それから最後にノーサンハンプトシャーのアースリングバラの雑誌も届いてますね。とても変わった表紙で、タイトルが何かさえはっきりわからないみたい。奇妙なテロリストの絵が表紙に印刷されております。コイルやフララ、ギルドーザ、アヘッド・オブ・デイビッドなどの記事が載ってますね。なかなかワイルドな中身みたい。
Tears, and that's not nearly all. Tainted love, tainted love. No, I've got to. Got to get away. You don't really want any more from me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight. And you say love is to pray, but I'm sorry, I don't pray that way.
ヘルタースケルターは初の12インチシングルをライブトレインというラフトレードからリリースしました。彼らはヘルタースケルターのサウンドの鍵はポール・スミスのポップビジョンを直感的な機関を通じて再伝達することと語っております。
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I don't know. Well, it means we're a band, doesn't it? It means I sing and I kind of form the original songs, but everybody writes the music. So That's all it means. You said it already. I didn't write it. He didn't write it. Did you write it?
I couldn't. I have to deny that. Yeah. We just provide personal services to each other, really. Yeah. As well as we can.
We are actually quite, you know, adamant about it being a band, really. It's not Paul Smith plus a band, it's a band.
Do you ever sit down and actually sort of analyse what you do and think it's quite ridiculous, considering it's got so serious, considering how serious people take music?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a waste of time. But the important thing about music is that you're outside society. That's what really counts. You know, it's like Patti Smith's Rock and Roll Nigger, isn't it? Which you'd obviously know about. You know, this whole thing about being outside society. And because it's like being an author or an artist, your job is to be outside society and look in at what's going on and help people inside society to form the questions. You know, I know that sounds really highfalutin, and I'm not saying we do that effectively, but that's what your job is. I don't know if we do that effectively, really. I think our songs are a bit full of hot air, to be honest, to do that. But certainly, like say, The Who did that for me when I was a kid. You know, help me form the questions, and writers should do the same thing. So like people like Jackie Collins as a writer is not fulfilling her obligations to society. She's got no function at all. She's just another packet of cornflakes. And so music is taken seriously and should be taken seriously, but if you're in a band, it's a total waste of time, really. I mean, it's an excuse for not having a day job, isn't it? You know? Yeah, this is a day job. Making a record's not a day job. Sitting here talking to you is a day job. That's not, I'm not slagging, I'm just saying that this is the kind of side of it. We're about playing guitars and singing, not about sitting and talking, you know.
Well, did you take that into account when you started the band? Do you think that being in a band is all you imagined, or did you sort of forget about all the things about being interviewed and doing all the sort of like cruddy bits involved in it?
I think, well, the cruddy bits are good because they're good for your ego, you know, and like, it's, everybody wants their ego feeding, so the cruddy bits help with that, you know. But really, the thing that gives the kicks is actually playing, and that's what really counts. Yeah, I mean, of course, the cruddy bits count because they're good. The thought of them is good for your ego, but really, the reality of it is that I'd much rather rehearse with the band than be here talking. I don't mind being here talking, but I'd rather be rehearsing with the band. And if not that, I'd rather be reading a book. You know what I mean? This is work. Because this is marketing. You know. We've got this bass player who hits people, and so we all kind of take refuge in him, really. And he just gets really angry and talks about thumping him. So we just let him get on with it, so it's pretty easy. But then, no, yeah, of course it hurts. I mean, people will slag you off. I mean, they must say, you know, that Rachel's a really crappy interviewer. And it must really hurt, you know. You're putting your life and soul into this. Of course it hurts. I think fame is important. I don't think I mean, if it wasn't important, I'd just sit in the bedroom on the doll for the rest of my life. Wouldn't even think about making records. You know, everybody has, I think in bands, has egos they want feeding. If he says they hasn't, he's lying. You know, and that's why you do it. You know, you play in front of an audience and you want them to want you. You don't want them to, you know, respect you. You want something more than that. You know, you want them to crave you and to, you know, that's, I think that's everybody's dream. But everybody wants that in the world. You know, people in bands are just taking steps to do it. That's why, like, you know, the geezers down the street get tats and wear vests and get bull terriers because they think that's kind of selling themselves. Yeah, because they want to be wanted. It's just an extension of the same thing. It's just feeding your ego. So, of course, fame's important. Nobody's going to turn it down. I think, you know, in the end, it's probably screws you up in the end, but I don't think anybody turns it down. You know, I think people welcome that. And it's a question of what you do to get it. I don't know. No, I mean, I'm at the moment just making records. That's what we do. To get fame, I don't know what we do. Yeah, now I just dream of books of my lyrics, of, you know, English crit of them, you know. Examine the meter. I don't know. What do you mean?
Imagine the whole nation is forced in the national curriculum. You must read Paul Smith's lyrics. Every child in every household. Imagine that.
ずれましてゲストプレゼンターの、BMX バンデッツのダグラスがジェス・ガロン&ザ・デスパラドスのマルガリータとアンドリューに会いまして最近の活動について語ってくれました。
You did the Adam Faith Experience. You've done cover versions of a Buddy Holly song, and Jesse Garvin was like Elvis's brother who never quite managed to survive.
Yes.
So how important is like 1950s rock and roll to the band?
Not very, really. We're not particularly influenced by it or anything.
No, it's just, I mean, the look's good, but I mean, there's no big kind of, it's never really been a big influence on us particularly.
A lot of bands that kind of emerged around the same time as Jesse Garvin had a overtly happy sound. But Jesse Garvin's records always seem to have a kind of more melancholy kind of feel to them. Do you think this is true? Could you kind of explain it?
Well, I think if it is like this, I mean, it's, you know, it's bound to be. I think, Dan, you said something, wasn't it?
Yes, well, we're quite a sad band, really. I don't know. It's easier to write songs from a negative point of view, I think, than from a happy point of view, because you can sound really stupid singing la la la, I'm so happy, la la, life's great. It's easier, there's more words to do with depressing things.
Right, and yeah.
And we're all pretty depressing people.
What do you think the biggest mistake the human race has made since their dawning?
Since what?
Since their beginning.
Oh, right.
Well, I think one was making you a presenter on a programme. Probably giving men, I would say, there's I mean, it procreates the race. I mean, that's about it. I mean, it's...
yes, test tubes would have been better.
Yeah, yeah, test tubes rather than testes. Yeah, I think.
Do you think sex causes most of the kind of problems in the world?
Well, I think the fact that the way, not sex, but the fact that it's a male-dominated world, and I think a lot of the troubles in the world are caused by, well, are caused by men, but are caused by the way that the world is set up in a very patriarchal way. So, and I think probably when it comes down to it, it all centres on the penis. Well, we get very Freudian here, but yes, I think I'll go for that. Men, get rid of them. I say, chop them off now. Get rid of the ghoulies. What was that? Was that Monty Python sketch or something? Sorry.
I could do that for you if you want.
We digress.
Yeah.
We digress. Are Jesse Garvin a green band? Everything seems to be becoming green, and I always felt that you had some sort of thoughts towards like saving our environment for quite a long while.
What have you heard? What have you heard?
Well, Andrew used to run for the Green Party many moons ago. Charity events.
Yeah, I stood for the Green Party about 4 years ago in a regional council election, and we didn't quite poll 15%. I think it was about 1.8%. I got 101 votes.
What are your first musical memories?
Well, mine is an 8-track cartridge cassette of Help by the Beatles, which we had in our car when I was about 4, and we knew the album back to front. My dad got fed up with it and threw it away. We were most upset.
I think my first one was, I remember my dad bringing home our first record player, and he had this big, like it was wrapped in big kind of polystyrene blocks and that, and unwrapping it, and it was gleaming technology at the time. And like he'd bought 2 LPs to play on it, and one of them was like a Beatles compilation LP, and the other one was by this guy called Lionel Morton. He used to do Play School, and it had all this stuff on it like Splish, Splish, Splash, Splosh. So I think that's my first memories are of him like playing the Beatles and then Lionel Morton. I've always thought of them as perhaps those 2 bands, or as the greats in musical history, the Beatles and Lionel Morton. Where is he now, we ask him ourselves, but he had great sideburns at the time.
素晴らしいジュシー・ガロンでした。番組がグラスゴーに押しかけた際にはシェルドンも彼らに会えたそうです。彼らの次のレコーディングプロジェクトが成功するように今後祈ってます。さて今週のフューチャーアルバムはベニー・プロフェインのトラップドア・スウィング、マンチェスターのプレイハードレーベルから発売。モリッシーから大々的に称賛された曲「スキンストーム」でデビューを飾ったブラッドフォードは将来を約束されたバンドのように思われました。しかしレッドライノのお父さんのため今年初め難関に直面しましたが、今スティーブン・ストリートのファンデーションレーベルと契約を結びまして3枚目のシングルとデビューアルバムを出します。
We did have some majors after us and also some quite big independent labels, but we chose to go with Red Rhino, and as you probably know, Red Rhino collapsed about last November, and so since then we were sort of drifting. You know, we didn't have any record company interested whatsoever until we went with Stephen Street with Foundation. Since then things have started picking up again.
How did you feel when people only really started taking notice of Skinstorm after Morrissey had applauded it?
Well, pleased generally because it got us noticed, didn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword. It was like a blessing, and it wasn't. But we can't really complain because
plucked us from obscurity.
Yes, it plucked us from obscurity, doesn't it? Yeah.
You know, we might still be
sweeping the streets of Blackburn, so
yeah.
So we're quite pleased.
Toilets in the centre.
Yeah.
Wind up on your doorstep one fine dark and dreary day, with my suitcase full of confusion and
Do you think people got the wrong impression of Bradford visually when you first started?
Well, I think within 2 minutes of meeting us, I think it's quite obvious, you know, because it's always dodgy territory, I think, to judge somebody on their appearance, because you can make all sorts of wrong thing. I mean, you look at Vlad the Impaler had very long hair. It didn't make him peaceful, did it? You know, and if you see what I mean. And Gandhi was as bold as a coot, and he was a very peaceful guy. So you can't really judge on haircuts.
Would you get fed up with all the press going on about it?
Well, yeah, but again, it's moved on. You know, people start to.
We've grown
it's just a bit.
since
Yes,
then,
I mean, you and Has grown his hair, but then people start to realise there's more to you. It's just an obvious first reaction, like when you meet somebody. So it's quite acceptable, I suppose.
Ian, you used to do a fanzine, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. How do you know?
Do you still do it?
No. It's like acne. You sort of go through it, don't you? But I mean, it wasn't like acne. I really enjoyed it. You know, it was
worse
great.
than
We met a lot of. It wasn't worse than acne. We met a lot of wonderful people through it, and I really enjoyed it. But this is like just an extension, the communication. You know, getting through to people. What I do now, so.
What sort of fanzine was it? 'Cause I thought you did like poetry and stuff in it, didn't you?
I did poetry as well. It was mainly just political satire and views on life and a lot of humour, all stapled together.